What's up, wrestling fans? So Paige came back today, huh? Got sick as soon as we got sick of talking about her coming back. I remember I said last night on the Survivor Series review, I think I said that if she doesn't come back tonight on Raw or tomorrow on SmackDown, I'm done mentioning her. And I think the last time we did that was with Sting, maybe, and then he showed up like a couple of weeks later, which was hilarious. Or it might have been that Sting showed up like a couple weeks later. I don't know, a month, or it was something close to where we were going to stop talking about it because I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And I don't know, it seems like that's the way. So whenever we want something to happen, we did with Kurt Angle too, I think. Yeah, we were like, oh, please stop with all these Kurt Angle rumors and Kurt Angle coming back, and I've had enough of this. And whatnot. So, but I wanted to give a shout out quickly to the patrons that we'll be recording. At least I think I will, unless for some reason I can't sleep. Morning Madness will be done later on today. Again, we'll probably do another one of those longer ones. It's up there. Morning Sadness is what I called the one yesterday because I was so tired and delusional and crazy. If you guys haven't seen the Kevin Owens 365 on the WWE Network, it is really good. It's not like the greatest thing that they've done, but it's another one of those really good, well put together things. That the WWE does. Just very interesting to listen to Jericho talk with Owens, and Owens talk with other people, and what happens on it. It's cool. Vince McMahon's reaction is really the selling point. The idea that Vince hated Owens' match is what made me go, I want to watch this and see what Vince's reaction is. What's it going to be, I think they even give it away in the trailer, but you still watch to see why that developed that way. I don't know. Great tease, I think, from whoever put that together. And I hope they do more of them. I know that he's the only one up there right now, but it really would be nice if they would do more of these 365s. Kevin Owens' one is great. He's very, very Canadian, where he's very critical of himself, very serious about his career. Not that anybody else isn't serious about their careers, but just it tends to be a thing I see with a lot of Canadian wrestlers. But I mean, with most wrestlers who give a damn, they care a lot. But he beats himself up a bit, even though he's in the WWE. But that's, sometimes what it takes to be somebody that good. If you're somebody that's just like, wow, I'm so happy to be here. I get to tag with Chris Jericho, a guy I grew up watching. I grew up watching Jericho. I'm 33 years old. I started watching wrestling when I was 5 years old. In fact, you know what? Kevin Owens, I started watching wrestling 6 years before Kevin Owens did, if you can believe that. I watched wrestling 6 years before Owens, because Owens said he started watching wrestling at 11. I started at 5. And, my first WrestleMania was 5. His first WrestleMania was 11, which was horrible. That was a terrible WrestleMania. And I only professionally wrestled for almost 2 years. So I think Kevin's got me beat there. But the 365 is really good. I love what they did. It's a mini series. It's almost like a mini 24. Except for they spanned 365 days, they said. But, I don't think they didn't really follow him every day for 365 days and tell this yearly story. They more or less took one story, one thing that happened, and sort of painted the rest of some of Owens' picture around it, without having all that footage and every story told, But they took what they had footage of and created this 365, stuff that they were filming anyway, and then they took and used it. I think that's what they did. But then again, he does acknowledge the camera crew a lot, like, oh, hey, you guys, I know you're filming this. So I don't know if that's something that, they were filming everybody like that, like trying to catch up with everybody's story. Okay, we got Owens, now let's go back to, we're recovering this other person, and then somebody else is going to get a 365 as well. Or if it's a once-a-year type of thing, so now there will only be another one maybe next year. That would be a shame if that was how it is. Because the way they're telling the story, I feel like they could do, one every 3 months or one every couple months or something like that, because it's such a mini, look into that person. But I don't know. It's something that, again, if you didn't see it, I highly recommend you watching it on the network. If you got the network anyway, you definitely got to watch it. if you guys have watched my previous videos, you know about my ideas about the network and about, getting rid of commercials at a higher tier. Alternate audio for commentary would be nice. That's something that was even in the WWE survey a little while back. Remember WWE did that survey? They mentioned the alternate commentary and stuff like that, which would be something I would really want to see. I would really want to see alternate commentary. I'd really like WWE to call me and let me do the alternate commentary. You know what I'd really like to do actually with WWE Network is have like a full, like a station dedicated to stuff like what we're doing right now, talking about wrestling or talking about stuff where, you're live every once in a while, you know what I mean? And, like kind of like bring it to the table in a way. But I remember WWE Radio. Remember they did that with Gorilla Monsoon years ago, whatever. And, that type of thing, but on the WWE Network. That would be really cool to see that and maybe hear from all these, shoot interviews and maybe get these guys on to tell stories and have it be, unfiltered. Why lose out to... it would be actually crappy for people like me if we weren't hired by WWE because you'd have such a plethora of stuff coming on that network. And it's already bad for podcasters as it is, right? Because for a while, fans and pundits and guys doing commentary, guys like me, who grew up watching wrestling, I wrestled for a couple of years. I really wrestled for a lot more than that on and off and stuff like that, but I legitimately wrestled for 2 years. I was a referee for a little while, then I went right back to commentary, which was always my best thing, commentary or talking on the mic or managing a team or something. And, I do have some kind of knowledge. I don't really call myself that knowledgeable. I just have opinions that I throw out there. I'm not knowledgeable. I just, give opinions that I have. And sometimes I'm wrong and sometimes I'm right. And sometimes it's fun to just say stuff. But, now that you got all the wrestlers coming out with podcasts everywhere, it's just like, man, it definitely does make this harder for guys like me because it's like, well, sure, I can say whatever I want on something, but Jericho's got a podcast, he's got millions of listeners. Stone Cold Steve Austin has a podcast. He's got tons of the same thing. Jim Ross, and now, all the way to Bruce Pritchard has a great podcast. And just so on and so on and so on, and everybody in the business, even X-Pac has one now, and his is good. All those guys, because they have endless stories about shit, and it's just like you can't get enough of it. And they have all the connections in the business. So all their wrestling friends will come on the show, so that anytime, hey, Kevin Nash, want to call the show? Sure, I got Kevin Nash on. For me, it's like trying to pull... teeth to get somebody on, unless somebody knows me or recognizes me and says, oh yeah, Joe, I met you were cool, like, yeah, I'll come on, but other than that, it's hard to get people booked to come on for the most part that haven't been booked a million times on everybody else's thing a million times. So, but at the same time, it all comes down to personality and your opinions and what you can do, and a lot of those guys aren't savvy on the way things are on YouTube and some podcasting, other stuff, and electronics and some of the new technologies. So like a guy like me, like I said, sure, I was a wrestler for a couple of years, and sure, I did some wrestling stuff, but generally nobody knows who I am. So how did I get to 51,000 subs? How does this other guy get to 70,000 or 100,000 or 50? Whatever it is. So anybody can still make it. It's only a crutch if you were to say, oh, might as well not do it. All the wrestlers have podcasts, Well, before all the wrestlers had podcasts, I was here doing this. But yeah, it's definitely, the pool is just everybody wants to do a show everywhere. You got hundreds of thousands of people doing shows that suck, that really blow, that just aren't even good at all. And they may get better someday, or they may not. 90% of them will quit doing it after a little while. And so you have the flood of all the noobs who aren't really going to stick with this, and they'll fail, but they're taking up the market. You know what I mean? So, and then you get some guys who do well, who do things different. And there's just so much. There's a flood, a sea of wrestling pundits and reporters and websites and people just flooding the internet now at this point. It's crazy. But I'm glad you guys listen to me here. Follow me on Twitter at Joe Cronin, or rather at Real Joe Cronin, my new Twitter account. And, of course, Patreon support. over probably around 30 hours of bonus content a month if you're a patron of $5 or more. And even if you're a $2 patron, you still get corrupted and a bunch of other stuff. So whatever you want to do, this is the time of the month, man. We need some signups. We are coming close to 300 patrons, which was the goal for this year. And we are almost at it. We're at 265 patrons right now. So we're about 35 or so short of 300. So if you have not become a patron right now, go to patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Sign up. You'll get tons of bonus content, 30 hours a week. 30 hours a month, not a week. Jesus Christ, I'd be dead right now if that was the case. As it is right now, I'm going to be recording Morning Madness later on. Be doing a special Q&A for everybody on Patreon tonight. After SmackDown, I'll be doing a Q&A live on Patreon for patrons. I'll be answering every single question that gets asked. So we will talk and we will have a lot of fun. Thank you guys for listening to this video, and I'll see you on Twitter tomorrow. Support the show if you can. Like I said, Patreon, and you get something back as well. Also got to shout out D-Moon, Schleppy, and the Goon. We found out they were the largest donations this year. $300 individually they donated. I mean, they've donated more than that, but I mean, at a time, largest donations ever to pop up on the screen in those amounts were 300, and it was those three that did it. Plus, I was able to find top super chats as well, so I can start posting those via the stream labels here. So we'll take a look at those. It looks like Shell is in the lead for that. So shout out to Shell. I hope she's doing all right in the hospital. Nate from VA as well, and Haskell 420. All people going through tough times, and more people going through tough times. It's hard times. But yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.